Hello everyone and welcome to the PowerPoint lecture. Today we're going to be discussing how to use Microsoft PowerPoint to help you better improve the quality of your visual aids for your informative speech as well as for your persuasive speech. So let's dive right in. When I have just opened up PowerPoint and I'm ready to go. Now I just go to New, and then there are many templates at my disposal. You can choose one of the generics, or you can jump into some of these, but I will just, for the sake of example now, I will just focus on one of these. I like blue, create, and there we go. So my topic today is going to be cheese. So I've just shown my topic, and now look at that. Wow, so many different ideas. With newer versions of PowerPoint, there are many options, there are many design ideas that it can create. And notice with these, though, that if you change it, then it will change all of the other types of slides as well. But in general, it is an interesting thing and a very fun thing to play with. So I now jump into my new slide. This is how you create new slides, but also keep in mind that you can even use different types of slides. So you can do comparisons or whatever. But let's say that I now want to change this slide. Then I can right click and go to Layout, and I can choose whatever type I would like. Great. So the general idea for organizing these PowerPoints is to treat it kind of like a delivery outline, in that you are referencing what you're talking about, not writing down every word that you're going to say on the PowerPoint slide. So I have cheese. So cheese is my main topic. What are my three subpoints? Could be, sorry, main points. Could be types of cheese. Anything else? Let's go how it's made, or maybe the history of cheese. And uh, let's go with consumption in America. So I now have my three main points, and within this organization, I can simply go types of cheese on this one, history of cheese on this one, and consumption in America in this one. Notice that I am copying and pasting exactly each. The reason why is to maintain parallel wording between different points. But I also have subpoints. So let's say for types of cheese, I'm going to focus on this one. I can do Gouda cheese, cheddar, and Swiss. Great. So now, am I done? I could be done, but a much better way of going about this is to instead have a pictures. So I go to Google and look right here. I go Gouda cheese, bingo. I go to images, and just like that, I have many different options. So notice that I do not, hold on 1 second, I copy the image. I do not save the image. That is just simply so that I avoid a situation where it's just going to be a lot of work and have to like go through different files. So I copy the image instead. I minimize and I go paste, and there we go. Looks appetizing. So let's say I instead go like this. So once that happens, it's going to be automatically connected to that text. So I want to avoid that. Instead, what I do is I click out of the box and then paste. That way now it is two separate items. I then go over here. Let's just throw it over here, and there we go. So I have Gouda. I also need cheddar. So I'm going to go ahead and find cheddar. And there we go. This one looks good, because why not? There we go. Slowly but surely, it is working. Notice that they are very high-res photos. That's probably why it's taking so long. And copy image. And going back to this one, paste. And then I go to Swiss. And there we go. Find this one and copy and paste. I'll show you why I'm doing this in a second. So I have my three options. Nice. And as you notice, that in design ideas, it can give me some ideas of what to do with it. So that's kind of nice, but let's assume that I have an older version of PowerPoint. So what I want to do is I want to follow the trail of dancing ants. So as you can see on the left side and now on the top, there is that dotted line. By trying to have as many dotted lines as possible, that can make it so that it is more proportional, and let's just say that that's fine. Great. So let's go ahead and show, there we go. Let's go ahead and show how to do this next step. And the next step is to jump into animation. The way that I do this is by going to animation and appear. I would avoid the other types just simply because they look a little bit funky through Zoom, but that's my own personal preference. And so that when you go to slideshow, these will all pop in. But now I also want the images to pop in. So how do I do that? I go click one and then go to appear. Then I'm going to go to this one. Wait for it. Cheddar first. Appear. And then I go to Swiss appear. So right now it would go, this this text would pop in, cheddar would pop in, Swiss would pop in, and then Gouda, cheddar, Swiss would pop in. That's not what I want. So instead, I click this, the actual number, and I move it later. And I move this one earlier to 2. Nailed it. Now, cheddar needs to be 3, so I move earlier to 3. I move this one earlier to 4, and Swiss is at 5 and 6. So that now, if you will see, and bear with me for a second, so now, as you can see, it goes Gouda, cheddar, and Swiss. Very simply. So that is how to do images. and animation. Now we jump into, stand by. Now we jump into video. How do I add video into this situation? Well, I go over to YouTube, and I go to of cheese. Don't mind mine. Wow, a TED Ed, super cool. So I add this.
To support
So
local restaurants, we've been to every city,
what's
including
going to
Little
happen
Rock. And
if you open it up through a link of a photo? Then you're going to get advertisements like this. So instead, and the way to avoid that is by embedding it into your PowerPoint. So how do I do that? I copy this link, and I'm just going to go ahead and close this right now. And I go to Insert, Video, Online Video, and Paste. And as you can see, it will pop up in 2 seconds right here. So we have the brief history of cheese. I insert it, and then it pops up right here so that I do not have to, number one, open up Google Chrome, and then number two, to then have to like wait through the ad until finally now you get to watch my video. And then the last one is a graph. How do I insert a graph? Well, the way to avoid this is to do, or sorry, the way to do this is to go to charts, and like that, let's say go to a line graph, and I choose line graph. Let's just do line graph for example. Great. So, stand by, stand by, stand by. And there we go. Wow, there's this weird thing. What's that? Well, I can, for example, go morning, noon, afternoon, and midnight. So, let's say that I'm just focusing on a few Americans, for example. I may say Steve, Sarah, and Sam. Great. So Steve, Sarah, and Sam, now I can change how much cheese they eat each day. Or throughout the day, I should say. So maybe Steve eats 1 block of cheese in the morning, noon, he eats 2, 3, and 4. Wow, super cool. Very consistent of Steve. Let's say Sarah eats 3 blocks of cheese, then 2 blocks of cheese, then 4 blocks of cheese, and then only 1 block of cheese. Now, let's say Sam does 3 blocks of cheese, 3 blocks of cheese, 3 blocks of cheese, and then he gets very hungry at night and decides to eat 7 blocks of cheese after that. So you notice that all of this is changing as we continue. What if I want to add one more? Then I simply go right next to it and I go Sue. And there we go. Now 1, 5, 8, or 1, 5, 1, 3, 4, and 9. So as you can see, there are, you know what? I actually don't like that. I'm going to instead go to 3. And there we go. So as you can see, it shows the graph and it's able to be created through PowerPoint very conveniently. So the last thing, so as you can see, this is how to create a PowerPoint. Now I'm going to go ahead and Stand by.